Okay, now Stuka Joe here from Badajoz, from the 8th Bellota Con. Really, it's the day before. I just noticed that I uploaded by accident what was a test recording. So that was the test recording. And it was disseminated publicly, so sorry for that. So I completely scrapped it. And so today is the day before the convention, the 8th Bellota Con. This is the 8th edition. I've been attending it since 2019, since the 2nd edition. In 2021, it wasn't held in person, it was done virtually, but I've come to all of them. And I'm right now at the NH Hotel and Casino, that's where it's held. And I'm in table, just to give you an idea of the table. This is table A84. This is like the farthest table from the internet access point here. And I wanted to do that on purpose because if I can broadcast from here, I probably won't have any problem anywhere. Of course, I'm static here, staying just for this particular video. I'm going to stay in this table. But you can see nobody has arrived yet because today's the day before, and we will have some of the publishers arrive to set up their games. Maybe do a couple of videos today because it's a good time. There's no noise, and we can see some of the new games that I'm interested in. But because this is a wargaming channel, of course, I want to show you some games that I purchased in Madrid. There's a store called Juegos Atlántica, Atlantic Games. I always go there, and I always purchase games that are not sold in the United States, because I mean, if I'm going to purchase an American game at a Spanish store, you're going to pay premium for that. So for us that come from the Western Hemisphere, it's a good chance to purchase some Spanish games. And one of the games that I purchased is from a company that is actually a gaming store, a game store in Sabadell. Sabadell is in Catalonia, near Barcelona. It's called SNAFU. And they have a line of games that are like folio games, like this one, small battles. And this is number 6. So I purchased this one 39 euros at the store. And this is a series of games that I've always purchased by mail, but because I was coming to the Bellota Con, I said I'll purchase it at the store, this one. So this one is Operation Bollerbank. I cheated here. I took the game out of the bag already, make it easier. And this is one of those games that comes in this format, which is pretty common nowadays. And what caught my attention to the game is this is a game about the Bosnian War, 1994. And you take the role of the UN forces, and that's a tactical solitaire game, and you're being attacked by Bosnian Serbian forces. I don't know if you are familiar with Brotherhood and Unity. You have there the Bosnian Serbs fighting the Bosnian Croats and the Bosniaks also. And you have the UN like in the middle of everything. So here you have a UN column that is under attack. And this is a tactical game. And the designer is Nicola Sagini. He designed a game with David Thompson, which is by Stealth and Sea, very interesting solitaire game where you take control of a unit of Italian frogmen, and you have to go and sink British ships in port, Gibraltar, and I think there's even a mission to Malta, which is kind of like a suicide mission. But you have different missions there. So this is Nicola Sagini's design, this game. And the artwork you're going to see is by Niels Johansson, which always impresses me. And you're going to see he has a very distinct artwork. Now this is a game that has player aids on both sides of the cover and the back. So you have the player aids, but I think it's best to show first the rule book so you get an idea. This is a folio game, but it's not a simple game. It's pretty involved. This is one of the this is counter sheets 2 and 3. It's 100 counters, not a lot of counters. And these are 1/2-inch counters. I don't know what the symbols mean. I haven't read the rule book. So, and this is the other counter sheet. You can see here the tanks have like this rectangular shape. And you flip them this way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We have the map. We'll be taking a look at the map, but I think it's better to take a look at the rules. The rules are heavily illustrated, which is good for this type of game that is so unusual. So, then we have the comments. We have Armando Felgueroso. Hi, Stuka. We'll see you tonight, tomorrow morning. Well, I'm going to be here, Armando. Thanks for your comment. And we have Jack-O-Lantern 1028. Tell me about that shirt you're wearing. It looks cool. Yeah, it's a Stuka shirt. Just says Stuka, and it has a Stuka in the background. Dante Mundo, great to see you. Always nice to have good size counters. Well, yeah, those rectangular shaped counters are pretty good size. So let's take a look at the rule book here. It's a pretty involved rule book. It's glossy paper, but you're going to see it's heavily illustrated. I'm going to be honest. When I said I'm paying $39 for a folio game, this was the most expensive SNAFU game that I purchased. But now that I took a look at the rulebook, I can see why. They've invested a lot in the quality, the illustrations. And so you have here an introduction. You have a time, space scale, unit scale game overview on this side. You have a component section here. And you're going to see the map is very different, but it's very visual, a very visual game. I don't know how to describe it until you see it. It's going to be something very, very different. So here we go. We have UN positions in the map. Here we have the enemy weapons track. And remember, here you control the UN, and the enemy is Bosnian Serbian forces. Here you have an example. You have a tank, and it tells you where that tank can fire. We have Francisco Javier. Hello, I'll be seeing you pretty soon. Okay. So, you can see it's a lot of illustrations. And you have a prepare for play section. This uses, as a randomizer, which I like, is this multi-cup system that you put chips in a cup, and then as things deteriorate, you either pull certain chips out or you put certain chips in which are not good for you. So this, you see here, enemy weapons pool, enemy actions, firepower, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, artillery pool. So you got at least 4 cups there, and it tells you what you put in each cup. So that's pretty cool. I like games like that. It's different from just rolling and consulting a table every time. Then you have the sequence of play. So it's pretty involved. Let's take a closer look there. You have an orders phase. So you issue orders for the turn. Execution phase. Execute airstrikes, move orders, fire orders, remove stun markers. Enemy reaction phase, and then the end phase. So usually I read the rules before doing these unboxings or unbagging, but because of the circumstances, I just bought this game 2 days ago. I haven't. Chico Adler, congratulations on another event, Bellota Con. Thank you, Chico. Thank you very much. And Francisco Javier is on his way to Badajoz. You're driving. Take it easy. No hurry. There's plenty of room here. And I want to take a look at that Berlin game. There's a NAC War Games is coming with a Berlin 1945 game, which looks really interesting. So here we have the order section. And we see those tanks that we saw before. It's really, I don't have a lot to explain because it's something very, very different. Here we have this is like a matrix. First chit and how you read it or what effect it has, the second chit. And here you have an illustration of a Leopard 1A5 based in Tuzla. See, it has the UN markings, has a halogen searchlight. Now we have the Battalion Headquarters Special Abilities. And you have an example. So these illustrations are examples of each of these rule sections, which is nice. Execution. NAC is going to be showing 3 games: the Republic's Struggle, Berlin 1945, the Fall of the Reichstag, which is the one I was talking about, and Tierra y Libertad, Land and Freedom, originally published by Blue Panther. Now the Spanish edition is coming out, and I'm actually going to play Land and Freedom at the Bellota Con, which I'm looking forward to. It's an excellent game. So you have the execution of the airstrike, move, tow, fire, and again, more examples here. And I know the map shows like it's like a point-to-point because this column has to arrive somewhere, this UN column. I'm going to show you the map pretty soon anyway. So, and we're in page 12 of the 24-page rulebook, and now we have here this centerfold, which shows you the map and like an example using all the maps. So you can see where the starting positions are for these units here. And you have UN vehicles moving. So I don't know if these guys are the enemy. They look like the enemy. Or if they're our guys. I'm not sure, I don't know. See, so you keep on going from point to point. Bosnian Serb army locations. So. And we have section 7, enemy reaction. And Carlos Diaz says hello. Hello, Carlos. Espero que lleguen pronto, con calma, no hay prisa, no hurry, take it easy. Yes, it looks like they've invested time and effort on the rulebook. Because, I mean, when you're playing a game that looks different to everything that you've played before, so I guess you need more examples. So that's what caught my attention. So we have enemy action here. So this is the section where there's direct fire attacks by the enemy. There's indirect fire attacks by the enemy. And then how to win, which is, of course, important. And let's see if we can get a gist of it. At least 2 tanks must reach Tango in the turn where the Tango 2 deadline marker is on before. So I think Tango is that location, but we'll take a look at the map. So you got to reach Tango. Following Nordbat 2 overall strategy for wresting control of the area from the hands of the Bosnian Serf, the player can win a tactical victory by achieving, then there's these 2 tactical victory conditions. You got to reach at least Sarasi. And all 3 direct fire enemy weapon tracks have to be empty. Okay. And then you have designer notes here. And you have one of the tankers here with a UN tank. Jacob Hansen. And he died in December 2020. Suffered from chronic PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And you have references and an example of play here. And you have an illustration for the example of play. So we're at page 23. Historical, so you got a historical article too. Oh, that's cool. And let's see. Peacekeeping by force. You got an inset there. Glossary. And then you have like a counter key. So okay, so here we see. Oh, that's a Leopard tank. Okay. APV, armored personnel carrier, I suppose. Then got the Bosnian Serb tanks. Those are in black. I should have showed this first. Sorry about that. Put everything else in context. So you have these markings here that tell you which, I guess, legal targets. Enemy weapon pools, RU, and event markers. So these go into the cup, I suppose. So this is the back of the book. We have the credits here. Nicola Sagini, Mark Figueras, Oscar Oliver, and Ivan Prat. And I left Dante there. Yes, I'm going to play a game. Actually, I'm going to play the Land and Freedom and play some other game. Hopefully play 2 games and I can play 3 great. Because, I mean, what's the use of going to a wargaming convention if you don't play a game, after all? I like to cover with videos the convention, but, I mean, might as well play a game, right? So here we see, for example, play raids. And you got the sequence of play here. The orders phase followed by the execution phase. And you have some steps there in the middle. So you're drawing chits from a weapons pool. Eventually you go to the execution phase. Execute airstrikes, move orders, fire orders, remove stun markers, and then you do the enemy reaction phase. And they react according to their weapons and readiness status. You can have tank fire, anti-tank, I don't know what GM is, fire, heavy machine gun fire, artillery fire, and then you have the end phase. And then you rinse and repeat. You have a summary of the rules of engagement. And remember, we are UN troops. We just can't go in there gun-ho firing. And we have Magnus. Great to see Magnus. Yes, thank you very much, Dante. I enjoy always coming to these events. Victory conditions. So we have like a flow chart for victory conditions. There's various types of victory conditions: operational and tactical victory, strategic, political victory. So it's pretty involved, the victory conditions, the ways you can win. And that is one side. On the other side, you have like terrain chart, which is different from terrain effects charts that I'm used to. So you have stacking limits in different types of terrain, denoted by the numbers in the circles. So it's really something different. Then you have the fields of fire for the AI side, the Bosnian Serbs. Radio network. And then you have this is the back of the game, the backside, which of course doubles as a play rate. So you got more play rates. Damage allocation for enemy direct fire. This is pretty cool. You can see, for example, the tank. I guess you roll a die. 1 hits the tracks, 5, 6 the turret, 2 to 4 the hull. So you see it in a more graphic way than other games, I suppose. And depending on the target, see the tank, and you compare it to the ATGM. Oh, this is depending on the weapon that is firing, I suppose. If a tank fires, a 1 is a hit on the tracks. If it's an anti-tank gun or something, a 1 is also a hit on the tracks, but a 2 is also a hit on the tracks. And heavy machine gun hits different places. Then we have hit effects. You got like a summary of hit effects. Enemy indirect fire. See? You got there the possible places, the vehicle that indirect fire can cause damage. Well, looks cool. And finally, we have the map. So let's take a look at the map. Okay, I'd say it's like 17 by 22, approximately. So we have here the map, and from what the limited information that I have, we start around here, I suppose. Sarachi, I don't know how you pronounce that. It's going to be our starting position, I suppose, and we're going to be moving along this track and receiving enemy fire. We have these are Bosnian attack spaces. We have Bosnian Serb army locations. Then you have summary for rules of engagement. You keep a track of that, the level of engagement. I guess that dictates how we can respond. Because we are UN forces. UN forces, normally they take a beating. So, rules of engagement. And the game turn track here. So 20 turns, apparently. And this is a display as to enemy tanks, enemy anti-tank guns, heavy machine guns. And this over here is enemy artillery. Well, this one looks pretty involved, but looks super, super interesting. So that is this impromptu on bagging, I guess you can call it, of Operation Bollerbank. It's a pure unbagging because I haven't even read the rules. It's like many unboxings. Nobody knows what's going on because nobody's read the rules. But this is SNAFU, Small Battles number 6. So hopefully let's see if I can eventually get it to the table and give it a shot over there when I get back home. But it looks interesting, definitely looks interesting. So we're here. We're going to end up this broadcast. We've been on for 26 minutes, and I'll be doing more of these today if we have more people arriving, so that we can take a look at some of the games, or at least get some information on the games. I know there's going to be people setting up tonight. So I want to thank you for joining in this unannounced live stream, but stay tuned to the channel. We're going to have more coverage of the 8th Bellota Con. So as I always say, this is Stuka Joe, signing off for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.